Hello. Today we're going to learn how to use my cash flow management system spreadsheet. This is based on a zero-based budget, and if you don't know what that is, this type of budgeting allocates every single dollar of your monthly income towards something, whether that's going to be expenses, savings, debt payments. Every dollar that you take home is accounted for in some way. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with projected income. So think about what you're going to make next month. And I want this to be your net income. That means it's your take home pay. It's the money that ends up in your bank account every month. All right. So let's say this is a dual income household. And person number one, feel free to put your name in here if you'd like to. Person number one brings home $10,000 a month. Person number two has their own business and their income is a little bit inconsistent, but they're going to guess that they bring home $4,500 a month. These guys also have a rental property, and after all of their expenses, the amount that goes into their checking account is $500. So right off the top, we know that they are making $15,000, and these $15,000 again has to be allocated somewhere on this spreadsheet. This number is going to be zero after we've entered all projected expenses. Let's get started with our expenses. Two types of expenses here are going to be our fixed and our variable expenses. Fixed expenses are those expenses that you spend every month. You know the exact amount it's going to be every month, such as a mortgage, your cell phone, your Netflix subscription, something like that. Those are pretty easy. So let's go ahead and stick some of those in. You can start with those. Let's say our cell phone is $150 every month. And then we move on to electricity, which is a variable expense. Here's how I suggest you find your variable expenses. Look through the past 2 or 3 months of your credit card or bank statements and just get an average for each of those variable expenses. So for electricity, let's say that I spend an average of $80 a month. You can also use the amount from last month if you think that's accurate, but we're just projecting forward here. And the most accurate number will be sort of an average. I'm not going to fill out every single column just because that's going to take forever, but I will go down to, let's say, groceries and fill that out because those are some big ticket items that tend to be quite variable and they're expensive. So let's say we spend about $800 per month in groceries and we like to eat out. That's one of our favorite things to do. So we're going to spend $1,500 next month in eating out in restaurants. Moving down the line, this couple does have children, so we will go ahead and put $2,000 into childcare per month. And this couple also loves to go to concerts, so let's spend about $500 on that. That's what we're thinking every month. And you can check up here to find out, how much you've got left. So the balance we've got left is $640.70. So let's also say that they have a pet. They spend $100 a month on their dog, and they love to travel. So this month they are going to spend $4,000 on a trip, and they've got a little bit of money left over here in this column. So let's say that every month they also put in $500 to an investment account, and they have certain things that they are saving for. So if you work with me, you'll understand what the buckets exactly mean. But essentially, I help you prioritize how to save and what to save for and what order to save for. So let's say that bucket number one is their kids' college education. They have to put $1,000 a month into that. And then let's say that this is savings for a big trip. So they also are trying to put $500 a month in there. And finally, let's show them to have a few loans. So we'll do $500 a month here. We'll do $1,500 a month here. Whoop. And then they have student loans that are exactly $23.70 a month. So now every dollar is assigned. So as you can see, the projected balance is going to be 0. Now, once the month begins, you're going to start keeping track of your monthly expenses. So every time your bill comes in, let's say the first your mortgage is due, just enter it in your actual expenses. And our cell phone bill comes in, you can enter it. Our electric bill comes in, let's say that we were way off base and it actually ended up being $200. We're going to enter it right in there. Then we'll move down to our bigger variable expenses. So as the month goes on, in this second tab, I want you to keep track of how much you're spending. I do this on a weekly basis. So at the end of every week, I go through my bank account and I check and find out how much I've been spending. So for example, let's say that I log in eating out. Every time I eat out, I put it into the spreadsheet. It's going to add it up here at the bottom. So by the end of the month, I've spent $1,425 on eating out. I'll go in here. I'm going to put it into my actual amount spent, $1,425. Look over for groceries. I ended up spending $1,000, which leaves me total for food, $125 over budget. And with that, I'll just continue to enter in my actual expenses. So let's say for childcare, it was in fact $2,000. That's a fixed expense. For concerts and events, I ended up spending $750. Went a little bit over. Our vacation was $5,000, more than $4,000. All these loans were exactly as they should have been. Every single month, they're the same. And of course, I can't forget to add in my income. So certainly the $10,000 came in as we expected. The person with their own business, let's do a couple things. So we'll show that instead of the $4,500, this person actually only made $3,000 in take home that month. And for the rental income, it was in fact $500. They still put $500 into their investment account. But as you can see, before they even put money into their savings, they're already almost $400 over budget. The way that I teach monthly maintenance of the cash flow system is actually to pay yourself first. So this would have been a real issue and they probably would have had to take it out from somewhere else, like possibly in these concerts. So let's look at something a little bit different. And let's say for our entrepreneur, instead of making $4,500, they actually underestimated. And instead, he ended up making $8,000. Now we're certainly in an excess. So we can go ahead and pay the $1,000 into this account for our college savings, and then the $500 into our vacation account. So now we see that there's money left over. This $3,105 can actually be used towards something else. So let's go ahead and put that amount into another bucket of savings. And now we are officially zeroed out. As you move forward in this system, think about what you're spending and what is bringing you joy. See if you can nail down 3 different types of expenses that really bring you happiness. The 3 items that I personally focus on are travel-related expenses, because I love to travel, anything related to horseback riding. So I pay my trainer and it's not cheap, but I get so much joy out of it. And really any experience that my children can have. So I don't feel too terribly bad if we're paying for camps or classes that they're taking. Everyone has different passions and there's no judgment, but just settle on 3 and really try to focus on just spending in those 3. My goal is not to constrict your spending, but it's to make sure that you're spending with purpose on things that you're passionate about. Please let me know if you need any help with this spreadsheet. If I can help in any way, just reach out. Thanks so much.